verse 31, Ulladhu Naarpadhu anubandam, supplement to 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. வண்டி துயில்வானுக்கு அவ்வண்டி செலல் நிற்றலோடு வண்டி தனியுற்றுதல் மானுமே வண்டியாம் ஊன உடலுள்ளே உறங்கும் மெய்ஞானிக்குமான தொழிலிட்டை உறக்கம். In this verse, Sri Bhagavan talks about the ultimate state of a jnani, a realized jnani. What is it like? We have all heard of or seen bullock carts in olden times, a cart mounted on a yoke and two bullocks pulling the bullock cart. On that, usually in the night time, the cart rider with the luggage would just sleep off, because the bullock carts remember the route and they will reach the destination of their own without his guidance. So he sleeps off, and then somewhere the bullock cart stops, and then on reaching the destination, even without his knowledge, the people around, they just remove the bullocks from the yoke. The three experiences: the bullock cart moving, the bullock cart standing, and the bullock cart is in a condition where the bullocks are removed. He compares this to the state of a jnani. A jnani is in a state of so-called sleep, nishtha. The way the bullock cart rider sleeps on the bullock cart, a jnani is in permanent abidance of the self. And these things go on automatically. Even when the bullock cart rider was sleeping, the bullock cart was moving and it stopped, and then the bullocks were separated. The same way, a jnani is permanently in a state of nishtha, abidance in the self. And the three things corresponding to the bullock cart moving, stopping, and the bullocks getting separated happen to jnani too. The bullock cart moving is equal to a jnani's activity. We might think that the jnani is involved in activities with the help of his body mind, but it is an automatic phenomenon. That's what he says. And then the vehicle stopping is like shushubdi, is a deep sleep state, and the bullocks getting removed from the yoke is equal to a jnani's nishtha. Nishtha is abidance in the self. He just is, that's all. He is Sat Chit Ananda. He is in a state of, not even state, he is Sat Chit Ananda. He is existence, consciousness, bliss. When I read this verse, it was a little difficult to understand, because this is the exalted final state, where the state a jnani is in. Sri Bhagavan has himself said that certain things you will understand or you will not understand unless you get enlightened. Because it's a progress from where we are. We are in a state of body identification, and this has not happened only in this birth. We have a legacy of n number of previous births. In every birth, we have lived with this bondage that I am the body. If we are male, we have had relationship with female, and if you have been a female, we have had relationship with a male. All the experiences are intertwined in our memory, and it remains stored, and they form vasanas. Not only sexuality, but also possession, land, gold, business, gadgets, etc. Of course, gadget is maybe a recent phenomenon, last 100 years. But of course, they are all possessions. Shankara says, what is this avidya? What is this bondage? He simply says, I and mine. That's all. That is bondage. So it is all scripted in our memory. Memory is the culprit. What we call vasanas, samskaras are nothing but memory. We carry truckloads of memory in us. And the memory stored, they do not sleep. Something within us, turns up one memory after another. And we pursue those memories, those thoughts. Of course, that is how we can live life on the transactional plane. We need to do transactions, we need to do business, we need to do activities, we need to do work. So many things are there in the transactional reality, and unless thoughts are there, we cannot proceed. This is how the mechanism is designed. But then, if we want liberation, we need to look at the content. And whenever a thought arises, we need to inquire. That's what Sri Bhagavan taught. Who am I? Sri Bhagavan is equal to the message, who am I? Who is getting this thought? I. Who is that I? And which is the birthplace of the I thought and other thoughts? Of all the thoughts, Sri Bhagavan says, the I thought is the root thought. From the Suddha Chaitanyam or pure consciousness, which is also existence, consciousness, bliss, a formless existence, formless consciousness, formless bliss. From that, something pops up. That is I thought. Then that I thought gets connected with I am Sentivel, I am Sundar, I am Ravi, I am Sailesh, I am Murali. This way it gets hooked, connected to the I am Sentivel, I am the body thought. And on that thought, like flowers are strung on a string, all the thoughts are strung on this I am Sentivel thought, I am the body thought. So whenever a thought arises, within that thought hides this thought that I am this body. That is the culprit. That's all. This is what I think Christians call original sin, body identification. Of course, they don't say this directly. That's what is meant, implied. So this thought keeps us move from birth to birth. Like the giant wheel that keeps rotating in the park, children park. We keep rotating. From birth to death, from birth to death, it goes on and on and on. If you do vicharam, when the I thought subsides, Sri Bhagavan says, if you seek the source of I thought, the birthplace of I thought, it will subside. Which means it will dissolve. We can give a parallel. If we go on dissolving a soap in a bucket of water, it goes on dissolving, waning. And slowly we will reach a point where the soap is no longer there. Or at least, 99.9% is dissolved. That is what the waning of our vasanas, attenuation of our vasanas, thinning out of our vasanas. And when we reach that stage, Anma shines forth of its own. Good fortune that we don't have to create this kind of extraordinary Brahman which pervades the entire universe in and out, and which has all the power through its projection power, Maya power, to create a physical order called universe, grand, governed by laws, with so much of variety, infinite variety of life forms, and of course life jada, lifeless forms like stones, planets, stars, etc. Such a power is inherent with Atma. And Bhagavan says that is what you are. If you think that that power is separate from you, you will go trouble, he says. This is Advaitam. The courage to admit that there is only one thing that exists, not thing within quotes. One Atma only exists, and that is what you and I are. When we reach that plane, so to say, the differences will dissolve. Sentivel is no longer Sentivel, Ravi is no longer Ravi, Murali is no longer Murali, Lalita is no longer Lalita. All become one. But the moment I thought again pops up, differences again emerge. I become Sentivel, you become Lalita, you become Sundar, etc. So, when you reach this stage of Jnanam, Sri Bhagavan says work will go on automatically, governed by Prarabdha. He says you don't have to consciously do anything. This place is a little difficult to understand. How will without my participation things will go on? It will go on because a Jnani has realized oneness. Everything is one for him. Only one Atma is there which functions as all human beings, all animals, all plants, time, space, stars, galaxies, etc. It is so huge, vast, infinite and limitless. It pervades everything in and out and yet remains untouched. That is what is said to be the Atma. And if we realize that oneness, that is called Jnanam. If separateness is there, it is Ajnanam. It is ignorance. If oneness is there, it is Jnanam. That is what we are. In that state, like how a bullock cart rider just sleeps off and things happen automatically, for a Jnani who sleeps inside this bullock cart called body, he says, things happen naturally. You just are, but things do happen. Moving, sleeping, nishtha, abidance in the self, they all happen automatically without your participation. That is the state of a Jnani. Let us think about it.